One Piece chapter 1011, it is titled Thank You Bonney, another one with Kuma's flashback. Honestly, this has probably got to be a top 3 flashback in all of One Piece. We continue where we left off from the last chapter, meeting Vegapunk, and this time there are some unexpected guests that arrive, including Kizaru and then over the phone, Saturn. Kuma, he has to get rid of his humanity in order to save Bonney. He becomes a warlord of the sea, and he answers the government's beck and call. Really good chapter. But if you guys enjoy regular anime content like this, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you guys never miss out a new video. Without it, my name is Potential Unleashed, and let's talk about One Piece chapter 1011. In the last chapter, Vegapunk and Kuma came to an agreement on what they would do in order to cure Bonney. Kuma, he would have to become a model for the soldiers that Vegapunk is trying to create, and that's all he would have to do in order for Bonney to be cured. However, now that's changed because the world government was listening in. Kizaru mentioned that Vegapunk is smart, but he isn't smart enough, and he didn't realize that there are transponder snails all throughout the laboratory. We also see a young X-Drake here, and I'm not gonna lie, when I first read this chapter, I didn't notice it was him. Maybe it's because I don't really give a fluff about Drake. I don't really care for him as a character, but hey, he was in this chapter. The discussion that's going on involves Kuma talking from Saturn to Vegapunk. So I guess you could say Kizaru, he was listening to. It's the fact that Vegapunk made a deal with a pirate to be the face of what the Marines want to do. When you really think about it, Saturn is correct. I know that Kuma is a kind-hearted person and that all the things that the media is saying about him isn't true. But having a pirate with a 296 million starting bounty be your face of these clone soldiers, it would look really bad. So in order to do this, Saturn implemented a few stipulations. The first one being that Kuma would have to become a warlord of the sea. Since they work directly under the world government, it wouldn't be that bad, especially because Ace recently knocked out one of the original warlords and they've been looking for a replacement ever since. This means a few things. We know that the world government originally offered Ace a position as a warlord, and we thought that back then it was because he was strong, but more likely than not, it was because Ace took out this warlord and they wanted to replace it with him since he was strong enough to defeat one. And we also saw Ace take out Jinbei later, so that means Ace was able to fight and defeat 2 warlords when he was alive. It's pretty impressive, I'm not gonna lie. He's one shy of what Luffy did, but if you look at it for the pre-time skip, him and Ace, when they both started their pirate journeys, took out the same amount of warlords. The second thing that's important is the time frame. If you include the time skip, this would mean that Kuma joined the Warlords of the Sea 4 years ago. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I kind of was not expecting Kuma to have been one of the more recent of the Warlord. The second and third stipulations, they kind of blend together. The second one being that Kuma would be a weapon for the world government to use, and the third one would be that he would lose his mind and his free will. This will allow him to be an obedient weapon that the world government can use, because we know that they go through hell trying to negotiate with the warlords and they go and do their own thing. And then secondly, because Kuma was originally a former Revolutionary Army member, so this will eliminate the chance of him turning against the world government. Vegapunk is of course against this because he's not a bad person. He just wants to be funded for his research, but at the same time, I understand that what he is trying to say, and I 100% agree with him, because he said that in doing this, you would essentially be killing him. But I also don't feel any sympathy towards Vegapunk because he put himself in this situation. Earlier in the chapter, when he interacted with Kizaru, he said something along the lines of he hates when he's this way. But Vegapunk knew what some of the people within the world government was like, and he willingly decided to join them. Like I mentioned earlier, it's because they have money for his research, and yes, Vegapunk wants to have his research be used for the greater good, but at the same time, with these corrupt individuals that lead the world government, you know that they're going to try to take advantage of you, right? So even though Vegapunk is such a smart individual, he's pretty naive and he's pretty dumb at the same time. And while they're bickering, Kuma, he decides that he's going to give up his humanity to save Bonney, because he said it himself, he'll make a deal with the devil, or he'll make a deal in hell or something along those lines if it means getting her cured. After the agreement between the two, Saturn, he puts even more stipulations on the ones they already agreed upon. It's like, Saturn, how greedy can you get? After Bonney would be cured, she would be a hostage until the procedure to make Kuma lose his free will was completed, meaning he would never see Bonney again after she's cured. If Kuma were to violate this, then Saturn, he said it himself that he would do whatever's in his power to ensure that Bonney became a slave. Now, I'm playing devil's advocate here because, like I said, I know how kind-hearted Kuma is, and more likely than not, when push came to shove, he would honor this agreement. But Saturn, knowing that Kuma is a pirate, right, he's not going to take any chances, and he's going to do whatever it takes in order to make sure he cooperates. And I respect it. Kuma ends up coming with a compromise saying, hey, I'll agree to this if you let her be at the Sorbet Kingdom where she is safe and you can have people within the world government watch over her. And that's what happened. After all of this hell finally went through, Vegapunk, he started having different ideas, feeling inspired, and talk about, man, I have all this stuff in my head. I wish there's multiple of me. And that's when future down the line, he ended up making the Stellas. There was a total of 6 of them. And reading all this, it kind of insinuates that Oda for a long time always planned on making one of the Stellas end up betraying Vegapunk. We see Kizaru, Senamaru, Vegapunk, Bonney, and Kuma. They are all together. They're eating together, sleeping together, dancing, laughing, etc. They were friends, and now we can understand a little bit of why Kizaru was at such a loss when it came to having to fight Sentomaru, when it came to killing Vegapunk. It's because of everything they've been through. And you could say the same with Bonney, how she felt as if Vegapunk betrayed her father even though they had this close relationship. I mean, she even wanted to come back here when she was cured. So you could understand why she was so adamant about killing Vegapunk and why she's gone through so much throughout the flashback, and even once she saw Kuma's memories. Kuma ended up bringing Bonney back to the Sorbet Kingdom where she was being watched under a CPA agent. Her name was Alpha. Now, I know in the scans they called her Alufa, so I'm gonna say it like that, but it's actually spelled Alpha. This agent, she looks a lot like Kalufa, the one that was a part of CP9 and now a part of CP0 that Nami fought, but she says, hey, if you do anything to try and escape, try to disregard what the world government has for you, the orders that they have for you, I will kill this child. Kuma, being the type of guy he is, he's definitely not going to do anything that would put Bonney in danger, where he pats her on the head and says, thank you for being born. Kuma is now officially a Warlord of the Sea. This is 4 years ago from the current story. This would have been right before Luffy was sailing the seas. There's other Warlords that react to the news of Kuma becoming one of them. There was Doflamingo calling him something along the lines of a monster. You know, Mihawk didn't really give a fuck. Crocodile disregarded. Moria made mention about it. Hancock, she disregarded it as well. I think one person that said a little bit more, and I want to talk about a little bit, was Jinbei. I love the interaction with Ace, because Ace is like, hey, it's a good thing that they found a new Warlord, right? And Jinbei's like, well, yeah, that's rich coming from you, because Ace was the one that took him out. Also, I want to mention, Alvida said that they say that he's as big as Whitebeard, which a lot of people have speculated ever since we found out that Kuma is a buccaneer, that Whitebeard was one as well. Kuma, he's writing to Bonney, talking about his adventures, and also something that I thought was really cute, seeing how much Kuma cares for his daughter, is that he ended up making his Jolly Roger something that Bonney drew. He arrives at Foosha village on waiting orders from the world government, and my question is, what is he going to do? Is he after the Gum Gum for, I guess you could say, the Hiro Hiro Mado Nika? Because we also saw Luffy in the same kind of area of this panel. And to piggyback on going after that fruit, since we know that Shanks was the one who took it and that he frequently visited there, I mean, we know that a lot of people speculate that he has a son with Makino. Is that why Kuma's here? Could it be Dragon? The fact that they picked through his memories and seeing everything that they've been through, knowing that Garp is a member of the Marines and that he came from the East Blue, could they have figured that this is where Dragon could potentially be? Overall, really good chapter. I believe that chapter 1011 should drop, well, at least the scans, on Wednesday, and then we should be getting a break. Kind of sad because One Piece has been cooking right now, especially the Kuma flashback. I love it, and I kind of do miss Egghead, but not really. I don't know, I'm kind of at a loss, but let me know how you guys feel about this chapter in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you guys never miss out on a new video from me. Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok is on the screen and in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to unleash your potential.